Good evening from the Channel's newsroom here in London. Bushfires have killed at least 8 people in southeastern Australia since Monday, with 2 others remaining unaccounted for. The latest fires, which raced towards the coast this week, have also destroyed more than 200 homes. 7 people have been confirmed dead in New South Wales and 1 in Victoria. Conditions have eased slightly, and a major road that was closed in Victoria was reopened for 2 hours on Wednesday to allow people to leave. But many people remain in fire-hit areas. The deaths bring the total fire-related fatalities across Australia this season to at least 18, with warnings this could rise further. Aerial footage on Wednesday showed burnt-out properties in Victoria and New South Wales, where whole suburban streets appeared to be decimated.
I stayed in Fort, yeah, but I'd say to anybody, don't stay, just go. No, don't stay, just go. Just get out and go. All you do is put your life at risk. There's no need to. Just go. Just get out and go.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has said he is ending the suspension of nuclear and long-range missile tests put in place during talks with the US. Mr. Kim also said his country would soon introduce a new strategic weapon, but he left a door open for dialogue and said the scope of any testing would depend on the US's attitude. The momentum of the past few years has stalled as Washington refuses to lift sanctions until Pyongyang fully abandons its nuclear program. The North conducted several smaller weapons tests late in 2019 in what was seen as an attempt to pressure the US into making concessions. US President Donald Trump has threatened Iran after blaming it for an attack on the US embassy in Iraq. The compound in Baghdad was attacked by demonstrators furious over the deaths of militia members in US airstrikes. Mr. Trump tweeted that Iran will pay a very big price for any damage or loss of life. This is not a warning, it is a threat, he said. But Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, responded by saying the US can't do a damn thing. Demonstrators regrouped outside the US embassy on Wednesday. Reports said at least 1 Iraqi militia had ordered its supporters to leave the area. Despite earlier threatening to retaliate against the country, Donald Trump said he does not want or foresee war with Iran.
I don't think that would be a good idea for Iran. It wouldn't last very long. Do I want to? No. I want to have peace. I like peace. And Iran should want peace more than anybody. So I don't see that happening. No, I don't think Iran would want that to happen. It would go very quickly.
Hong Kong's protesters have welcomed in a new decade via a New Year's Day rally with tens of thousands of people joining a pro-democracy march. Though the gathering was largely peaceful, violence broke out in some areas with police firing tear gas. On New Year's Eve, demonstrators had formed human chains that stretched for miles down busy shopping streets. More than 6 months after the protest began, they gathered for midnight countdowns by Victoria Harbour. Police used water cannon to clear Nathan Road in Mong Kok and fired tear gas and rubber bullets. The French hardline union CGT has called for more strikes in France this month after President Emmanuel Macron pledged to push through an overhaul of the pension system. It follows weeks of nationwide strikes by trade unions. Mr. Macron said in a traditional New Year's Eve address on Tuesday that he expected his government to quickly find a compromise with unions on the reforms. Unions are trying to force the former investment banker to abandon his overhaul of France's pension system, with nationwide strikes since December the 5th that have crippled public transport. Pope Francis had to pull himself away from a woman in a crowd in St. Peter's Square on Tuesday after she had grabbed his hand and refused to let go. Pope Francis was walking through the square and greeting pilgrims on his way to see the large nativity scene. After reaching out to touch a child, the Pope turned away from the crowd, only for a nearby woman to seize his hand and pull her towards him. However, on Wednesday, he apologised for being abrupt the previous day with a pilgrim in St. Peter's Square. And finally, the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah set 2 Guinness World Records for fireworks displays on Wednesday. The first record was for the most unmanned aerial vehicles for launching fireworks simultaneously, and the second record for the longest fireworks waterfall. The 2020 New Year's Eve Gala included 13 minutes of fireworks displays. The second title for the longest fireworks waterfall spanned a length of 3,788 metres, beating a previous record held in Fukuoka in Japan. And that's your international news around the world.